All right, guys, welcome back to There Is No America Without Erica, and we all need a little Eric in our life. So apparently the federal government just remembered something really awkward. Surprise. There has been a law sitting in the United States Code for decades that says certain people who lost their federal firearm rights can apply to get those rights restored. Not beg a judge, not ask permission from some state board, not wait around forever hoping Congress fixes something, actually apply to the Attorney General under 18 U.S.C. 925C for relief for federal firearm disabilities. And if you are sitting there thinking, wait a minute, I thought that program was dead. Congratulations, you are exactly right. It was basically dead for over 30 years because Congress kept blocking ATF from spending money to process those applications. So the law technically existed, but for normal people, it was like having a front door with no doorknob. Very official, very legal, very useless. Now, DOJ is trying to bring it back. And this matters because a lot of people have asked about this. People with old nonviolent felonies, people who had one stupid conviction years ago, people who got jammed up decades ago, rebuilt their lives, raised families, paid taxes, stayed out of trouble, and still live under a lifetime federal gun ban, like they are one bad day away from robbing a liquor store with a musket. Now, before we get into it, quick reminder, go check out onlytechnicalfans.myshopify.com. We've got MREs, medical gear, survival gear, tourniquets, and the kind of stuff you actually want before everything goes sideways. Now, the snake staff tourniquets are still one of my favorite items because the best tourniquets is the one you actually have on you, not the giant one sitting in a drawer at home feeling proud of itself. Your support keeps this whole circus moving, and I seriously appreciate every one of you guys. Now back to the federal government accidentally finding the restoration of rights button under a stack of paperwork. The statute is 18 U.S.C. 925C. That section says a person who is prohibited from possessing, shipping, transporting, or receiving firearms or ammunition under federal law can apply to the Attorney General for relief. The Attorney General can grant relief if the person proves two big things. One, the circumstances of the disability and the person's record and reputation show they are not likely to act in a way dangerous to public safety. Two, granting relief would not be contrary to the public interest. That sounds simple. It's not, because this is not fill out your name, click submit, get your Glock back by Friday. This is the federal government. They can turn ordering a stapler into a 7-part compliance ritual. The proposed DOJ process is heavy. Applications would need to provide records, consent to background review, provide information about criminal history, employment, medical history, military service, and basically hand DOJ a shovel and say, dig through my life. For felony-type convictions, the proposed rule talks about certified court records, police reports, sentencing records, probation or supervision completion records, and any documents showing expungement, set aside, pardon, restoration of civil rights, or state-level restoration. For misdemeanor domestic violence convictions, the proposed rule is even more specific. DOJ wants the charging document, investigative report, relationship of the victim to the applicant, judgment records, sentence completion proof, and records showing whether the conviction was wiped out or rights were restored. They also want FBI fingerprint cards or electronic fingerprints. So no, this is not a magical loophole. This is a federal review process where the applicant is basically saying, look at my past, look at my life now, and decide whether I am still dangerous. And the Attorney General gets a lot of discretion. That is the part people need to understand. This is not automatic. This is not, I waited 5 years, therefore I win. The proposed rule has presumptive disqualification periods. For general nonviolent felony type offenses, DOJ talks about a 5-year period after conviction or completion of sentence or supervision. For certain drug distribution crimes and misdemeanor crimes of domestic violence, DOJ talks about 10 years. And for violent felons, registered sex offenders, illegal aliens, and other serious categories, DOJ says they will generally remain I cannot say this word, presumptively ineligible absent extraordinary circumstances. That phrase matters the presumptively. That means DOJ is setting up default rules, but Attorney General still gets to look at the facts. And DOJ specifically says they are not locked into some robotic categorical approach where they only look at the title of the crime. They can look at the actual conduct. So if your conviction sounds minor, but the facts are ugly, that matters. If your conviction sounds bad on paper, but the real world facts are less severe, that might matter too. Sears would never say this, but that is actually a way more honest way to do it than pretending every person with the same code section is the exact same human being. The government created a life ban hammer, swung it at everyone, and then acted shocked when not every case fit perfectly. A guy who committed violent armed robbery last year is not the same as someone who caught a nonviolent felony 25 years ago and has been boring, employed, married, and law-abiding ever since. And yes, I know boring sounds like an insult, but in this context, boring is exactly what you want to be. DOJ's own standard is basically, are you dangerous and would restoring your rights be against the public interest? That means evidence matters, employment matters, time matters, no new arrests matters, no threats matters, no protective orders matters, no drug or alcohol problems matters, character letters may matter, your reputation in the community may matter, and the local chief law enforcement officer gets notice. That could be a police chief, sheriff, head of state police, or local prosecutor. They get a chance to submit comments supporting or opposing the application. So if somebody is thinking, I'll just sneak this through quietly, no, this is not how this is designed. The proposed process is built to collect information for every direction. And then there is a big warning that everybody needs to hear. Federal restoration does not automatically fix state law. Say that again because this is the part that can ruin somebody's life. Federal restoration does not automatically fix state law. If DOJ restores your federal firearm rights, but your state still says you are prohibited, then congratulations, you may have fixed the one problem while still standing directly inside another one. That is not legal advice, that is common sense survival advice. Do not watch a YouTube video, see gun rights restored, and decide it is time to go shopping. You need to know federal law and your state law, because the gun store counter is not the place to discover that the federal government and your state government are not on the same page. The reason this whole thing is such a big deal is because 925C was supposed to be the safety valve. Congress created board firearm propositions under 922G, but 925C was the path for individual relief. Then, starting in the early 1990s, Congress used appropriations language to block ATF from using money to investigate or act on individual applications. The Supreme Court case United States v. Bean dealt with this mess. The basic problem was that if ATF could not act on the application, there was no real denial for a court to review, so people were trapped. The law said there was a process. Congress blocked the money for the process. Courts generally said they could not just step into ATF's shoes. And for decades, ordinary people were left with a statute that looked alive in the law books, but dead in real life. DOJ's new move is basically fine. If the ATF's funding writer blocks ATF, the Attorney General still has the statutory authority, so DOJ can build a new process outside the old ATF setup. That is the legal maneuver, and it is already controversial. Gun rights people see this as long as overdue return of process. Gun control groups see it as dangerous and unnecessary, and DOJ is trying to thread the needle by saying they want to restore rights to law-abiding Americans while keeping firearms away from dangerous people, which sounds nice because every government program sounds nice when written by someone wearing a suit and trying not to sweat. The actual question is whether this becomes a real meaningful pathway or just another federal maze where people send in paperwork and wait until the sun burns out. That is what I would watch closely. How many people actually get approved? How long does it take? How expensive is it? How much documentation do they demand? Do they deny people based on vague public interest language? Do they use old arrests that never became convictions? Do they treat drug crimes like automatic danger forever? Do they treat misdemeanor domestic violence cases differently depending on the actual facts? Do they give normal people a real shot or only grant relief to politically connected people and celebrities, because the last part is not hypothetical. DOJ has already published federal registration notices granting 925C relief to named individuals, including high-profile names. So when people ask, is this real? The answer is yes, but with a giant asterisk. Real does not mean easy. Real does not mean guaranteed. Real does not mean open season. Real means the federal government is trying to revive a dormant legal pathway that could matter a lot for people who have generally turned their lives around. And that is the point of this video. This is not about pretending dangerous people should be armed. This is about whether the government should be allowed to impose a lifetime civil disability on people forever even when the person has demonstrably stopped being a danger, like they demonstrated. At some point, the question becomes very simple. Do rights come back, or does the government get to permanently brand people for life even after the sentence is done? The supervision is done, the debt is paid, and decades of lawful behavior prove the person is not who they were. Because if the answer is no, whenever it gets their rights back, then just say that. Stop pretending there is a justice system. Call it what it is, permanent civil death with extra paperwork. But if the government is going to claim people can be rehabilitated, if it is going to claim sentence end, if it is going to claim people can rejoin society, then there has to be a way to prove that. 925C may become that way again. Not for everybody, not automatically, not without risk, but for some people, maybe for the first time in decades, there may actually be a door. A very annoying door, a heavily guarded door, a door with forms, fingerprints, certified records, local law enforcement comments, and the Attorney General standing there with a clipboard. But still a door. And after 30 years of sorry, the process exists, but nobody is allowed to use it, that is a big damn deal. So if you are someone this might apply to, do not be stupid. Do not guess, do not assume, do not take legal advice from a comment section where half the people think constitutional carry means you can carry a canyon into Applebee's. Talk to a qualified attorney in your state who understands federal firearm disabilities, state restoration law, expungement, pardons, and 925C. Because one wrong move can turn I'm trying to restore my rights into I just caught a new federal case, which is bullshit. And that would be the dumbest sequel imaginable. But for the broader gun rights movement, this is worth paying attention to, because it is one of those first times in a long time that the federal government is publicly acknowledging that some people prohibited under federal law may deserve an individualized path back. You think? That is not nothing. That is a major shift. Now we watch the DOJ actually does with it, because paperwork promises are cheap. Actual restored rights are what matter. Now, before we go, check out onlytechnicalfans.myshopify.com. We have MREs, medical gear, survival gear, tourniquets, and other useful stuff that does not require you to decode the Federal Register like it's a treasure map written by a drunk lawyer. Grab what you need, support the channel, and thank you seriously for keeping this whole thing going. Like, subscribe, share this with somebody who needs to understand what 925C actually is. And if you were going to do some Amazon shopping, don't forget to hit the link down below. And even when you click on that link and it takes you to a store, and if you don't buy anything that's in a store, just because you clicked off our link and we're going to do Amazon shopping that you're going to do anyways, we get a little kickback for that, which it does help, and I truly do appreciate it. All right, guys, until the next video, peace.